with Miss Mott in many of these matters, you got to tell her what she wants to hear, or she continues to sweat you, or sweat me, as was a nice but demanding woman that she was. She always wanted, the next biscuit.
A local judge describing the woman with whom he had an affair, all part of a hearing that could end his career. Welcome back to Let It Rip. With us now, the woman at the center of the sex scandal involving Wayne County Judge Wade McCree. Geniene Mott is here. She is pregnant and ready to talk about what happened, who's to blame, and maybe who's the father. Next to her, an attorney who has handled a wide range of cases from criminal defense to personal injury to family law. She's also a member of the Law and Media Committee for the State Bar of Michigan. Tracy Martin is with us. And of course, we all know Charlie, and we thank you for being here, especially you, Geniene. I know you've been through quite a lot, but I have to ask you, you knew he was a judge.
Yes.
You knew he was married. Why did you get involved with him?
Poor judgment, clearly. It was a sad time for me, and he was interesting. He pursued me, and why not? There was something to do.
You were involved for what, about 4 months, 4 or 5 months?
Yeah, somewhere around there.
And during that time, according to his testimony and according to yours, there was lots of sex. Sex in his chambers, sex in his wife's bed, sex in his mother's bed. You were almost like rabbits for a time there. But the problem is one or both of you fell in love.
Correct.
Did you?
Yes.
Did he?
Well, according to him, yes.
And an even bigger problem is that you got pregnant.
Exactly.
Is Judge Wade McCree the father of your child?
Well, I'm not willing to answer that question. But at the end of the day, in my opinion, the father is who raises a child, is active in their life, and who does within their best interest. We'll see who takes on that responsibility once my child is born. It can be a current boyfriend, it can be a family member, who knows?
Well, why would you not want to answer that question?
Because
if you know, do you know?
Absolutely.
You do know who the father is?
Maybe, maybe not. The father is who I choose for it to be.
Well, are you saying that you slept with other men besides Wade McCree?
Not during our relationship, no.
Who impregnated you?
It's a question I'm not going to answer.
Not now, but Tracy.
You know, Charlie, and if she doesn't want to answer that question, that's perfectly within her right. But I think what we have a case here of is black robe syndrome gone seriously bad, where a judge just doesn't get it, that his behavior doesn't get it, rules-wise. Tonight I brought a copy of the Michigan Code of Judicial Conduct, and it's a set of rules that judges in Michigan are supposed to follow. And clearly with this case of Judge McCree, he has violated canon number 2, rule number 2, which says a judge should avoid impropriety and the appearance of impropriety in all activities.
Well, neither sex nor love is illegal, but the question is whether the judge allowed that sex and love to influence his decision in court.
The only real issue, I think if the judge just had an affair, I don't think that it'd be bad. It could break some of the canons, but this was very private. But I think where the judge is really going to get in trouble is discussing a case and dating somebody for which you were a complaining witness. It was your case in front of the judge. I can't date clients as an attorney. We just know that. And as a judge, and I don't care if it was the most easiest case in the world, you can't do that. But there's other things too. He used a deputy sheriff to pass a phone, which you're not allowed to have in the courtroom. He used a deputy sheriff to hide that phone. The judge allowed you to get into his chambers for whatever reason. And that's all these things is using your judgeship in the wrong way. That's where he's going to go.
That's where the appearance
we heard from the judge too during the testimony at the hearing for the Judicial Tenure Commission. Here's what he said about Geniene. He claims that she became obsessed, harassed his family, and threatened to end his career.
Oh yeah, that she's clearly looking to bring me down. This is at the time when Laverne and I are trying to work Miss Mott to get the termination so we could all walk away. If I had a minute, she wanted an hour. If I had an hour, she wanted an afternoon. If I had an afternoon, she wanted an evening. If I had an evening, she wanted a night. I was vulnerable, but my nose was open. I knew what I was doing when I was getting into this relationship. I lusted after this woman.
Well, the judge mentioned his wife, Laverne, who also testified in his defense during that hearing. Both the judge and his wife say that you were the one who was obsessed, that you stalked them, that you called them repeatedly, texted them repeatedly, that you even showed up at his house late one night demanding to see him. Did that happen?
Well, as Judge McCree admitted, he knew what he was doing. He's the judge. He's held by the judicial standard, not I. I wasn't aware of what rules he could break and, frankly, which ones he was willing to break. His wife also admitted on the stand that she knew about me. She didn't have a problem with the affair. She had a problem with the pregnancy.
Did they offer you money to end that pregnancy?
And you got that information
No.
from your husband?
They didn't offer me money. I didn't ask for money. Her issue was the pregnancy, and she thought that my child would have entitlement to that inheritance.
Did they offer you the deal that if you got the termination of your pregnancy, then Judge Wade McCree would then file for divorce?
Well, he had already filed for divorce. He filed for divorce on October 11th. His wife just didn't know about it. She testified to what she was told by Judge McCree, and obviously she doesn't have the whole story.
But now there's some people who will look at you, Geniene. Now you know what some people are saying.
Well, I really don't care what people are saying. I was in court under subpoena, and I was 100% truthful, as I was in the first interview with Charlie LaDuff. I'm not here for the public's opinion.
But the question is, are you doing this out of revenge or for money?
Absolutely not. Judge McCree made the story public when he went to the prosecutor's office. I came forward to protect myself against charges from a judge who people will probably believe, not knowing the story. So that was my way, without having an attorney and spending money to defend myself for a crime that I did not commit. That was my way to protect myself and my family.
And you know, Geniene is right. The judge is held to a higher standard. She's just a citizen. Judges are elected by their constituency. They take an oath. They swear an oath of office. In this case, you know, we have a judge who presided over child support, a case in which Ms. Mott was a litigant. She's the complaining witness. And that really smacks of an appearance of impropriety, and it really violates due process. You can understand why there's been a lawsuit filed
Geniene,
in connection with this
what
case.
do you think should happen to the judge?
Ultimately, he should be removed from the bench. I don't think he's fit to serve as a judge. He's admitted that he has poor judgment. So if you ultimately admit that you have poor judgment, how can you judge the cases and the lives of others?
Do you blame yourself for probably the judge's, he's gone? I mean, do you blame yourself at all?
Not at all. The judge chose to be involved. He knew what his standards were, and he chose to go forward with it.
Why'd you go to the media? Why talk about the media? That's the one thing the judge didn't want. Was that revenge?
Well, he went to the media when he went to the
prosecutor.
Right, when he filed
That's
the
private,
fault.
though. No charges were ever filed against you or anybody.
Well, when they showed up at my door, I was unaware that the charges were filed. His intention was for the charges
So
to
was
be
it to go to
filed.
the media to get back at the judge?
No, it was to protect myself.
Do you still love him?
Absolutely not.
How do you think it's going to end? Are you going to sue him after this in civil court?
Who knows what would happen? And absolutely anything is possible. I'm learning details of the case with the testimonies, so as you are.
Do you regret this whole affair?
Absolutely.
Did you learn anything from this?
Oh, I learned a lot.
What?
I learned to have a lot better judgment in men and to be aware of the lies that I clearly see and not listen to what I hear.
It's really a cautionary tale. Ms. Mott says that she's learned a lot, and hopefully the judge has learned a lot as well. But the bottom line in all of this is that we cannot have criminal defendants wondering in a court of law if they're being hammered by a judge in a courtroom because the judge is hammering the other side in the bedroom. Can't have it.
Look, we thank you for your opinion. You understand? We especially thank you,
No problem.
Geniene, for being here. Best of luck to you no matter what happens.
And thank you for hearing my side of the story.
We appreciate it. Thank you. And we thank you for watching. Coming up, tying teachers pay to their students' performance. Some lawmakers are pushing a new plan in Lansing, but what do you think about it? We'll find out next when Charlie takes the show on the road.